There's no such thing as getting rid of every legal immigrant and thinking it's not going to impact the economy.
Oh, but some people may not like this, but I'm going to say it.
I want to welcome you all to the Eye of the Storm. This one here is a conversation that I'm going to be having with a special guest. I've never brought in a guest, but you know what? Me and my boy was having a conversation about some stuff. And I said, you know what? This needs to be heard amongst the people. Like everybody needs to have hear this type of conversation because other groups I know are talking about these things. So you know what? I'm not even going to tease it. I'm not even going to do all this other stuff. I'm going to go straight into it. So let me bring my guy up here. Let me bring him up here and we can get into it. My brethren, Cliff, what's the word, man?
Sir, how are you? How are you?
Good. First of all, I want to thank you for being in the building. I want to thank you for wanting to be on camera because you know you can be sometimes, people could be real lay low and don't want nobody to see them. But enough of all that. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, and let's get right into the conversation that got us here.
My name's Cliff from Brooklyn. Run my company, CL Communications. I have a background in finance and also very good friends with Storm. And we talk a lot about a lot of different topics and we pick each other's brains on a lot of things.
I don't know if I call it picking each other's brains. Sometimes, man, you just be going off the deep end. I just had to. That's why I'm like, you know what? Let's get in here. Let's get it talk. So look, how did this whole thing start? What was the one question that started this whole thing?
Well, we had a discussion about currently now what's going on with Biden's son. And
go ahead. What was the question? Let's get to the meat.
So basically, I find it like kind of crazy that Biden currently right now has his son being pardoned. And the reason why I find it crazy that he's being pardoned is that so many people he have placed in prison for the same kind of crimes that he's pardoned his son for.
Okay, so let me give clarity real quick, and I'm going to let you jump back in. So for those that don't know, Joe Biden pardoned his son, but he said the day before, I think a day before, 2 days before, whenever it was, or maybe it was for Thanksgiving, that he was not going to pardon his son, right? But
correct.
He pardoned his son for criminal acts. I think one was tax evasion. I think the other one was
gun possession.
Federal. You know what the charges are?
Gun possession and I believe tax evasion.
And some stuff with drugs, from what they say. Whatever it is, he pardoned his son. Now, give your opinion on why you feel he shouldn't have pardoned his son.
Well,
the president of the United States, and why he shouldn't pardon his son.
Listen, you won't get any objection from me. If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But I wouldn't lie to the American people and tell them that I was not going to pardon him. So my thing is, it's just another line in the lies that Biden tells. In my evaluation of him, all I see is everything that he says actually that comes out of his mouth is a lie. He lied to us when he lied to black people, when he said that he had black people's back, when so many black people in South Carolina, I believe it was North Carolina, voted for him. I just see this along the lines of him being who he is and just telling the lies that he tells so freely. All
right, let me jump in real quick. Now, like I said, I don't find nothing wrong with him pardoning his son. He's a president. What I do is I like to look at a pattern here. Other people who have been pardoned. Now, I don't know offhand, but I think we can actually Google that. And I like the fact that we got the computers in front of us, right? Like people like Trump pardoned when he was president. Let me see. People who Trump has pardoned. Now, Trump had pardoned a couple of people. He let me see, has Trump pardoned? Now, I remember he pardoned several people that we had a problem with at a time, like who done some serious stuff. He pardoned Michael Flynn former national security advisor who pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. He pardoned him. He pardoned Roger Stone, his ally, who lied to the Congress regarding his attempts to contact WikiLeaks after the website released damaging emails about Trump. So he pardoned him. He pardoned Paul Manafort, who also worked for Trump, who's one of his lying buddies, holding his treasure chest of lying secrets. He pardoned him, a convicted financial fraud, allegedly worked with Russia and meddled in the 2016 elections. So
I'm getting a battery over here on my thing, so I don't know what's going on with my system here. So I don't know if this is going to cut off or not. So, but I'm listening until it's
pardoned him. So he pardoned Charles Kushner, the father of his son-in-law Jared Kushner. He Steve Bannon, like that list alone is all his cronies. Now I don't like getting to this whole political thing, right? But what we're doing here, we want to clarify a few things. If you hold a position or a seat of power, should you exercise those privileges you have for a family member, even though that family member may have done something? So I broke down all the people that he pardoned. So I don't find nothing wrong with it, especially since he's an outgoing president. He's not coming back. Like, who did he lie to? They lost the election. The man is going to be gone. Sat down at Thanksgiving dinner, probably with his wife, the rest of the family. And even though he said that, they were like, listen, the right thing to do is to bring your son home for your last act as sitting president. Bring him home. And he may have learned. But the thing is this, is he a danger to society, to politics, to people? Nope. Not in my opinion. But everybody else, who this guy, the other guy, who's going to be the new commander-in-chief, he released Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Charles Kushner, like Steve Bannon. Like, these people were a problem. These people, in my opinion, they are a threat to democracy. So that's my thought about it. I ain't find nothing wrong with it, brother.
Well, let's get it straight. And again, like you, as his father, you know, him being his father, I would say that's the least he can do. You know, the least he can do. But in the eyes of the president, him being the president of the United States, I mean, and telling the people of the United States that he wasn't going to pardon his son, I think that actually shows terrible character on his part.
Bro, how many presidents say they're gonna do something and don't do it though? Like,
listen, you won't get any debate from me about that. Not at all. You know, I'm not caping for any of these presidents at all.
But that's your fallback is, since he said it, he shouldn't have did it. No.
Well, let's get it straight. My thing is,
I'm not a Biden supporter or other guy supporter. What I am is, did this decision hurt or help the American people? Did it hurt or help the economy? Like, who did it hurt? Who did it help as an individual? And if people are bothered by it, because I think you mentioned like somebody else, you know, they upset by it, and all these people upset. Well, y'all still upset. They still upset based on the election. And I don't want to go down that path, but that's what they upset about. But go ahead.
Right. And again, I'm like you. I'm not a supporter of either party because, again, I've come to the point to where, you know, politics is politics to me. But there are so many people out here now that don't understand what is really going on. And it boggles me to, like, you know, hear people talk about as if this is some game. This is your life, you know? I think the man is showing terrible precedence in terms of being president of the United States. But let me explain. Because I believe that he should have actually stood by what he said. You know, we already have politicians who lied. He just solidified that by saying or doing what he did. So my thing is, again, he was already going out of here as a bad president. He's already leaving as a bad president, creating crazy war. Huh?
Why was he leaving bad? What were the things he did that were?
Well, again, he's leaving right now with. Well, listen, do I have to say? I mean, we almost like in World War III right now. Almost. We're on the brink of World War III. So my thing is, again, that alone to me is something that actually I say to myself, listen, this guy is like, what is he trying to do? Is he really trying to destroy us all?
How are we going to
Is
break?
his
All right, I
last
got to ask. I hate to even do it. I can't let it go by. I know somebody's asking this question. How are we on the
Mhm.
brink of World War III?
Well, we got a war going on over in Ukraine.
Mhm.
We got a war going on in the almost a war going on over in the Pacific Ocean over here with China and North Korea. And then we got a war
Who's in
going
war with
on
them,
over.
though? What do you mean by that?
Well, they say we're not at war. He's got all these other countries that are actually fighting on behalf. If he's supplying weapons to Ukraine, and he's overstepping his boundaries every time he actually. I mean, listen. I'm just going to put it like this. I'm going to say it like this, man. Right now, what Biden is doing to me doesn't make any sense on his last days. For me not to go into straight detail about
That one
everything,
decision, right?
Mhm.
That one decision is something that is gonna, stain his presidency completely, right?
Right.
Not the fact that um during and believe me, I'm saying this not because I support him, because this is actual what's happening.
Right.
The stock market all-time highs, money is moving,
Mhm.
you know.
You mean under Biden?
Yeah, yes. Look at the
Mhm.
stock
Uh-huh.
market. Look what the
Mhm.
market has
Mhm.
done
Gotcha.
in the last 4 years. Like,
Gotcha.
people. The problem is none of that stands or shine because of the homelessness, the immigration, uh, food is high, rent's high, housing is like all
Mhm.
these things are high,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you my opinion. I don't think the new administration coming in even is thinking about trying to solve none of that, because I
Mhm.
already know my opinion, he coming in here to get money. Since he
Right.
won, anybody who knows, and I could stand here with a big smile on my face. Soon as he won, everything went through the roof.
Mhm.
I'm up easy,
Mhm.
extra, let's say 200K in the crypto world.
Mhm.
Easy in my portfolio. My portfolio's
Mhm.
hit over 1 million. Like,
Mhm.
he's taking these things, and the people he's bringing in there are other people who all want to get paid. He want to be paid. Like, I
Right.
feel he wants to be a true billionaire. Like, not one of these, I got $1 billion, but he hanging around Elon Musk who got 80 billions, and all these young tech billionaires with 10 billion, 20 billion, and he got two or three. No, his
Mhm.
objective is to be a multi-billionaire like them. So this is why crypto is going nuts. This is why the stock market is going nuts. This is why all this is going nuts. And I did a video, I think my last video, I told people, get out our feelings about this election. Go out there and go get this money. Invest in these
Mhm.
stocks. Okay, you can't afford real estate right now. You don't have down payment. Cool. Take that money you do have. Go start buying into these companies. Go start buying these digital currency, crypto. If you know dollar's not going to exist, we got to start thinking like a business. All that
Right.
shit is in the past. Like, what are we going to do? Now is the
No, and
time for you to make your bread. So I'm not.
and I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
told
caught up in that. Yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you. You won't get any objection from me on that. And again, but I still think everything hinges on consumer sentiment, you know? So if we got, I mean, it's just been really terrible for the consumer the last couple of years. So my thing is, again, if consumers aren't excited about actually going out there buying, I mean, I get it on the part of those of us who buy stocks and things like that. But those consumers are the one who actually lead the market in purchasing power. So if they're not able to go out there and feel comfortable about purchasing, it's like, how are we supposed to feel comfortable about going out there and purchasing the stock because they lead the trends? Now, I tell you this right now sets a bad precedence in my thoughts for the Democratic Party, In my opinion, you can smile if you want to. I'm just going
He
to
said it
tell
got
you,
nothing to do
it
with.
has
He said it got nothing
tarnished.
to do with money. Yeah, keep going.
Well, it does to me. It does to me because again, I'm I'm a black man here. So my thing is again, as you, my thing is again, I live in a certain world. And in this world, what I want to understand is like I'm part of the purchaser and I'm also part of one of those people who actually partake in purchasing stock. So if it's not like, no interest, and the interest is dying out and they're getting rid of a lot of their customer base. Remember, the black consumer is almost $1 trillion business. You know what I mean? In purchasing. Black people's purchase a lot. Now, if you shun them and you're getting rid of them, I mean, who are going to do all of the buying?
But he's gone though, bro. Like he's
Right,
gone.
but
So,
it's tarnished. The Democratic Party is tarnished, man.
bro,
Their brand is tarnished.
here's my thing. I am registered independent. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
I I
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I really can't say don't care, but I don't think about them on that deep of a thought because no matter who became president, I still had to go to work. Nobody, not Biden, none of them, not nobody went once they got elected. It was like, bet I got time off. I'm getting a raise. No, like everybody has
Mm-hmm.
their own agenda. I solely believe no matter whoever wins the presidency, there's still a group of people that they have to sit down with who really run the country. The president has direct control of war, budgeting, money, what direct. When you look at all the other things, finances, money going here, money going there, they have to get the say from other people. This is why he's putting these people in certain places to control the flow of money that can reroute back to him somehow. But they don't listen, man. It's everybody has to do for themselves. He's gone. It's over. Like the whole thing about
So,
Democrats,
so
how
do
they
you think
ran.
you think it's over? You think
For who?
I don't listen.
His presidency is over. It's lamed
Okay,
up.
his presidency is over.
Yes.
But remember, we still got people out here right now that are actually catching panic attacks because they lost.
God
So
bless
we
them.
still got politicians. We still got politicians right now talking about actually creating civil war
Ain't happening.
because people want to actually like fight against this whole immigration thing, which is crazy to me.
What
You
about
know.
it?
So go ahead.
What about it?
I'm not getting it. Now, my thing is again, if people come into the country illegally, it's like, it's against the law, right? To my understanding. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, but that's something that's been happening for before me and you
Not at
was
the
even born.
Yeah, but not at the rate that it has under the Biden administration. And my thing is again, people have been coming over here. Man, listen, I don't know how to explain this to people that it's not a good thing for people to bombard like they are in a club, like when we were young and they used to bum rush the door, you know, and everybody's inside, then you can't like get rid of everybody because you don't know who paid or not.
Right.
So my thing is again, uh, it's just weird to me that we're sitting back and people are not thinking about their own interest in this
No,
case.
I think they are because they voted and showed that
Mm-hmm.
they're concerned. That's why he's
Mm-hmm.
gone. That's one of the biggest
Mm-hmm.
issues. But my thing is
Right.
this though. Let's look at it like this, right? How many illegal aliens are working where they're on these farms and they're working these stores and the farmers? Like this was a big thing. They're doing all that
Right.
stuff that people don't want to do.
Right.
Like there
Right.
was when Ron DeSantis, I think in Florida, wanted to do this bill where all immigrants working had to have some kind of card or something, and all they started to leave. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
Spanish people, they were out of there. You know what
Right.
happened? They tried to use prisoners to go out there to these farms and pick the potatoes, pick the watermelon. Prisoners was like, no, take us back to jail, bro. This is too hard. Yeah, like
Right.
we ain't doing this work. So what did he do?
Right.
Scrap that idea and let them back in, illegal immigrants, to be able to work. Now, I don't agree with a lot of it, but let's be real. There's no such
Mm-hmm.
thing as getting rid of every illegal immigrant and thinking it's not going to impact the economy. Let's be real. It's not, and it's gonna. You think it's inflation? You think the economy is something now? You what? All that Look, let's talk
Well,
about.
let me give you let me give you one, because again, I think that this is, to me, and I know you know better. I know you know better. Media talking points. Let's talk about media talking points. And my thing is, I'm not big on media talk. I'd rather a person come out and say what they mean and not like take somebody else's talking points and use them for their own. I'm not saying you're doing that, but this is what I hear a lot from a lot of people. Now, my thing is, before these immigrants came here, before immigrants came here and doing that kind of work, there were Black people doing that work.
No.
And hold on. Let me make my point.
Yeah.
The reason Black people and people in this country are not doing that work, can you tell me why they're not doing that work?
Tell me, brother.
And it's not, okay, it's not because there aren't people who will do that kind of work. It's because those jobs don't pay a living wage. If they're not paying a living wage for people to actually do those jobs, which those people come here, and again, I'm not like saying that they're bad. I'm not saying immigrants are bad. What I'm saying is that they're being exploited themselves too. So if they come here and they're undermining not only them, the people that are looking for jobs, but the unions themselves. If you see what they're doing to the unions, this is crazy. I've never seen some of the things that have gone on with these unions right now. I haven't seen as many protests in the last couple of years in my life than these unions have gone through. So my thing is, again, large corporations are getting over pretty big, by getting cheap labor and actually getting out of actually having to pay a living wage to these people who are union workers and people who are just first time or coming out to look for decent, livable, wageable jobs.
Here's my
So,
pushback. You said Black people are doing these jobs. Anytime you're going back to look at these type of jobs, you say Black people were doing, you're going back to Jim Crow, you're going to when Black people were in the fields.
mm-hmm.
Black people, and it wasn't a good wage back then, yes, but then Black people
You're right.
went into the middle class was formed, where
Mm-hmm.
now you're seeing a lot of Black people getting jobs in office buildings, city jobs, sanitation, Verizon, postal, electric company, gas company. Now those jobs went from being nepotism to mostly white people who would have nepotism and hand those jobs down, right? And that's not a knock,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a lie, because when I got into Verizon, everybody was family. I'm talking, that's my son, that's my son's wife, that's my brother-in-law, it was insane how many people was related. But as soon as I got in there in 95, that nepotism shit was out the window. It was like, they got to go do an application. All of a sudden it was over. But other than that, everybody could get their family in there to work. So saying that we held those jobs, no, we didn't hold them as a job. It was a must do. Either we worked on the farms or we had no choice but to work at either we lived on the farms and was manning those farms, or we worked at those farms and those, I don't want to say the word plantation, but we worked there at a very unfair wage because we had no leverage and no power back then. Once we started to leverage, get power, then we started to get good jobs. Somebody had to fill in that spot. Okay, cool. Those jobs didn't go nowhere. Them people now came in and doing those jobs. Like if you go look at most of these jobs where they have cherry pickers, the apples and all this stuff, you think is automated, the pecans, the almonds. These are the same migrants that they're saying they want to mass deport them. But what they're going to do, like this stuff isn't going to happen like that. It's good running point, it's good talking points. Everybody being here legally. I'm also with understanding that there's still a viable market for people who are not legal to work. You just have to create a situation for them to now be able to become legal to work, but not threaten and say, okay, we're going to just mass deport people, because that's so good talking points, right? Like people are frustrated and an election is going on. All you got to do is speak on the things that's making everybody upset. And that's basically what happened. Like, okay, you mad at this? Okay, you mad because men are going to be, men going to be dressing as women, they're playing in the sports. And I agree that's totally crazy. that could happen, but they knew how to push buttons. 100%. Do I feel the Democrats went way far left and got to the point where they just got overran and overruled? I think so. They forgot that people just want a regular like situation in their life. I'm gonna tell you about one of my boys, right? And I was on the phone with him, and this was right before the election, and he said, no, excuse me, this was after the election. Hold on, when this happened? Oh, this happened 2 days before the election. And he said, yeah, he voted early. He said, man, I voted for Trump. I said, what? He said, yo, bro, I voted for Trump, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I said, why did you vote for him? I didn't expect that, He says, because I got kids in school, bro. Said I go up to the school and I seen a teacher being very flamboyant. That's a problem. There's no rules, and you can't say nothing to him because now you get shunned. They looking at you like, what's your problem? When they don't see that's the problem. You're implanting this image and these things in the children's head where they're there to learn. And for me, I agree. Like if I was a parent of a young child and they going to school and the school is cool with, this sexuality thing and being very flamboyant or being very masculine or being a certain way and bringing that conversation into the classroom, and then I got a party that's supporting it, I'm voting for the other side. So I totally got it. But when he said it, that's the only time I believe that Trump was going to win. But any other time, I swore he was going to lose.
I grew up like you know what I mean? We had conservative values. And contrary to popular belief, Black people are conservative. We're very conservative people. I'm around a lot of conservative Blacks, and we are the people that actually we value our things. We value where we live. We value how we look. We sometimes we do that to our detriment. I think that taking so much interest in ourselves has actually stopped us from actually looking at our communities as a whole, and our values. So our values now don't take precedence to what we need to do because of what we see we want. So I've come to the conclusion that the only way for us to actually come back is when it comes to these parties and these or dealing with people who think or asking for handouts, is to actually dig in and go get it. But what I don't understand is how can we be from the same place and have different views?
That's easy though. We're not a group of monolithic people. So that's easy because it has a lot to do with upbringing, values. Like people just, especially, it's just different, bro. We have to understand that people become very emotional when they haven't understood the value of time and money.
Right.
Like when you understand the value of your time, the value of money, you realize emotion isn't related to neither one of them.
So it's a way you think thing then.
You have
because
to.
if that's the case, then it's understandable to me to why I think the way I do and she thinks the way she does. Because the way I am, I mean, it's like it's ambition. You have ambition. And the thing is, that's what drives you, But my thing is, don't get me wrong, I think that, and I'm one of those people that's a strong believer that this country owes us a lot. It owes us as Black people a lot. I want everything that this country owes us. But if you're sitting back waiting for a handout, it's like you're going to get nothing except exactly what they want to give you. And don't think that they feel as if they owe you something, because they don't, in their eyes. So that's why I say, you got to go out there and look at what's yours and say, this is what I'm going after. I'm not going to stand by and wait for a handout. I can't do it.
Bro,
What's mine,
let me clear the air, which I always like to do, right? I always like to tell people, don't ever expect nothing from this country. Like no matter what they owe, we ain't never gonna get it. I'll never sit back and go over reparations and all this stuff. Like, you just got to go get your grind on, get your money. Like I mentioned, ever since this dude won, markets killing, crypto's killing. Everybody out there should be like, look, let me go get this money. Because I got 4 years. Because this dude gonna steal at least 20 billion right before your eyes. All you got to do is go in there and get 0.01% and go get this money. Go buy these things, go understand where technology is going, get this shit together, secure the roof over your head, because housing ain't going down. Real estate is going to be a commodity like gold and oil. Like gold, you used to be able to go dig somewhere, and the great gold rush, everybody got gold, and all this tons of gold, and the people sold the shovel and picks, made a lot of money. But guess what happened after that? Government came along and said, look, hand in your gold, we're going to trade it and give you some paper tender for it. Came a commodity. Same thing with oil. Struck oil somewhere, you had land, you could buy some land, you go digging for oil, you go get this money. Like that movie, There Will Be Blood. I think that's the name of it, with the oil. But same things happen in real estate. Real estate is going to become that thing that the average person just can't ever afford anymore. It's going to become a commodity. It's not going down. Corporations are buying so much of it that now they're going to take control of it.
We had the first Black president, and I'm going to say it. Don't shoot me, but we had the first Black president. I was there. I saw it. And he was detrimental, in my opinion, to the single largest asset that our community held. He was complicit in Black people, our people, losing their single largest asset, because a lot of Black people didn't do stocks. A lot of Black people didn't do insurance, but housing and purchasing property was one of the largest assets that we held.
So how did he play a part in this?
Well, he, in my opinion, and we talked about this before, I believe that he bailed out the banks, which he shouldn't have done, which shouldn't have been done. I was there. I was actually a underwriter in one of the banks when that occurred. So my thing is, again, I saw all of the stuff that was going on, and it was ridiculous to me how these banks actually got away with it. When right before my eyes, I was seeing things that actually they should have been brought up on charges for. But they let them slide. They were too big to fail. And I doubt that they were too big to fail. I thought they could have failed because there were smaller banks that were buying for the opportunity.
Here's my question.
So,
I don't have a problem with the bailout of the banks, right? Because there's a lot of money. A lot of our money is in these big institutions. My problem I had was not having the banks pay that money back. That's the problem. The banks shot up. I think it only took them a couple of years to get back making $1 billion. If you look at the stocks now, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, like they're booming. They're all doing well. They could have paid this money back over a certain amount of years, 10 years, whatever it was. That's the problem. I don't have a problem with bailing out the banks because your money's in there. My money's in there. Mortgages are in there, things like that. So now if they don't get their money, what's the first thing coming after? Yo, you got a mortgage? We need all that money. We need you to pay your mortgage. If you can't pay your mortgage, cool. We're going to start coming after these houses. We're going to sell this because real estate is still a very expensive commodity. Now we're going to force the banks to turn into real estate companies. So there was a decision that needed to be made. I don't think the outcome of not giving them a blank check and not having to pay that back, I think that was the problem.
But see, this is another example of what I'm saying, of a party that's actually supposed to be protecting a community that is supposed to be fragile, or a community that's disenfranchised. And it's an example of them actually like coming in and actually showing no care for that community, So again, this goes back to me.
What do you mean community though? You mean the party, the Democrat, Republican, like that's what you're talking about? They care about what community though?
Well, they're overwhelmingly, I would say, what is it, 80% of our people actually vote Democrat?
It's a very high number. It's like very high.
That is like a large percentage or the majority of us that actually vote Democrat. And as long as for decades, we've been voting Democrat. And we've never actually reaped any benefits. If you look at every one of our communities, every Democratic community has some kind of despair, gun violence, police corruption. We got drugs.
Oh,
We got so many things in our communities that actually are detrimental. Not only that, hospital care. We're just finding out now that Black women are the largest majority of women to lose their children based on childbearing or having children. So
but
my
is
thing
that a
is again,
Democrat thing, bro?
what's
Is
that?
that really a
I
Democratic
don't
issue?
think
Meaning
I,
they're the problem, or the
I
people in the community is the
see.
problem?
That's what I want to get away from, brother. Is saying that we're picking sides. I'm talking about the people who were in charge, who we gave our trust to. We
Yeah,
already
but
knew what the Republicans were about. We already knew what they were about.
yeah,
But
but
the ones, see, I look at it this way, and I'll tell you this: there's extreme and there's subtle. All right, you got to pick your choice. What do you want, extreme racism or do you want subtle racism? Which one do we want?
yeah, but
You
what that
know,
has, but what when you say extreme or subtle racism, where does that
so
tie in with the party? That doesn't tie in with a party to me.
well, it ties in. Extreme is it's now the Republicans, because back in the days the Republicans were the party of freedom. You know, back in the days, a long time ago, they were the
Right,
party of
right.
freedom. And now the Democrats are supposed to be that enactment. But they're actually showing us that they never had our interests. Again, if your plan, in my opinion, if your plan is to actually give people freedom by giving them feeling sorry for them, or actually giving them things like food stamps and things like that, okay, give it to the people who need it. If you need it, God bless you. You know, no shunning, nothing bad about it. Take it, it's yours. You supposed to get it. But if that's all they're handing out, and they're not handing out opportunities like stopping redlining, stopping police brutality in the communities, actually doing the job that conservative Black people want them to do. Shoot, listen, I was in, I tell you, I was in California. When I went to California, man, when I was young, I went to high school in California. And I went to one of the worst schools here in New York, a high school in New York. My mom told me, she said, I got to get you out of here because I don't think that you're going to do well out here in New York. And it was a great thing that she did that. You know why? Because I went someplace and I said, wow. I said, this place is like 90210. It was just different. I'm telling you, compared to what I saw in New York. And then I said to myself, I'm like, wow, these people living around, these white people and all of these other people, gave me a new mindset. It made me see that there is something different than this world. But I said, why is that world so different from this world?
Right, but real quick, let me jump in, and because you understand something, bro. That's years and years of turmoil, trauma, going through things, going back to our great great grandfather. Like you
Mm-hmm.
understand, that's that thing. It's a different when you tell our stories. When you go back and look at our story, you're gonna keep going back to pain when you go backwards. Pain
Mm-hmm.
of mothers, our fathers, then our grandfathers, their pain, then their pain with Jim Crow, their pain knowing seeing their mothers in slavery, their pains, and then their great there's nothing but pain when you go backwards of
Right.
our legacy.
Right.
Now, if you follow other people's path, yeah, a lot of people who have different races and different colors, they have some pain, but a lot of them had different stories of pain. A lot of them had struggles of finding jobs or going through the Great Depression and stuff like that. But a lot of them didn't have the story of coming out of slavery and trying to go through Jim Crow, trying to go through the Underground Railroad, trying to save your kids. Like that's two different struggles. And that beats you down where you had the black exploitation movies and you had how Harlem was and want to have the Harlem Renaissance where they wore the zoot suits and everybody was proud to be wearing them bright color suits with the big hats and that stuff, because it was a way to say, I made it. Don't you know the black race saved the Cadillac car? We saved that car.
We saved a lot of things.
But what I want to also get out there, because you mentioned it, is food stamps. Food stamps had nothing to do with black people. Food stamps was created by FDR in the 1930s because of the Great Depression. In the Great Depression in the 1930s, a lot of black people wasn't working to have jobs. So when jobs were gone, that didn't impact us. Most of us wasn't working anyway.
Right.
So
well, I agree with you.
It was created for white people, but black people eventually were able to get food stamps. But black people became the poster child of food stamps when it wasn't like that. All right. So
I think it's more of a catalyst for the direction that they wanted to take black people in, if you ask me. The first time I saw myself, that movie Claudine, when I saw Claudine, I was like, wow. I said, this is actually something that really happens. I said, they took the man out the house and they told the woman that she cannot have a man. So they said to him that, listen, if you have a man in the house, we'll stop giving you money or we'll stop supporting you. So it went from that. Then the next step was to take drugs. Drugs was the next catalyst for actually like destroying the black family. They had a hand in actually putting drugs, the mafia, everyone had a hand in actually bringing drugs into the black community to further destroy the black family. So you have mothers doing whatever they did, fathers not being there, just so many things. And then the next catalyst was child support. Child support was the next catalyst for actually taking fathers and like holding them or making them actually responsible for something that both parents created, And I mean, it could have been done in a way that those who were really bad parents, they should have been responsible for that. But there's so many innocent people who actually got caught up in that game. It's like they use that as a catalyst to actually further destroy the black family. And then the next step, I would say today, is like some of this music that is actually being used to actually further destroy the young people today. I mean, it's a pattern of all these things. It's a pattern to me.
Music, understood that was some of the most powerful thing we had as a people. During slavery, had hymns, singing and all that, and the same thing, civil rights movement, fight the power. There's a documentary I like people to watch called Stax. It's a record company called Stax. There was a big concert at the Los Angeles Coliseum where a lot of black artists got together for, civil rights and movements and stuff like that. And real powerful. And once it was understood how powerful music became to us, the other forces wanted to own music. And now that they own music, they have the choice to put out what they want. I mean, when we was coming up with hip hop, we had NWA, we had Luke, we had Cursing, we had all that, but we also had Eric B. and Rakim. We also had Public Enemy. We also had X-Clan.
I'm thinking about music like that. I don't know what you thinking about.
No. What I'm saying is we had both. We had a choice what to listen to. Like we wanted to wild out when we go out at night. We know we throwing in a certain type of music. We get in the car, we wilding. We having a good time. But then we also had throwing some other conscious stuff when we wanted to be in
house music. We had a lot of stuff. We had variety. Right.
But this generation now, all they got is what the people who own the music is giving them. That's straight ignorance. And I never thought I'd be the old guy in the room. But they have they don't have that option to be marketed good music for the soul. They got to go look for it. They got to go search.
Right.
But when you turn on the radio, this is all you hearing. And that's not by accident. That's by design to ruin their minds and for them to start disrespecting each other. The carelessness of life. I always believe you cannot deny that race plays a factor in your life and what people think
Correct.
are going to give you. You can't. Like that, people be
Right.
like, oh, it don't matter what color you are. That's bullshit. But I also
Correct.
believe, too, we're in a space, a place, and time where you can become an entrepreneur. You can have a job and take your job to make money and grow wealth. We just started this whole thing talking about, how the market has done good for us. Crypto is
Right.
doing good. We
Right.
getting this money. Our parents couldn't have this opportunity. Our grandparents
But
had
we're
this
not
opportunity,
ignoring
right?
facts.
Right?
We're not ignoring facts. You
Right,
see,
right.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
hold
Once
on.
you
I'm gonna
realize,
give it back to you.
Mhm,
That's what I'm saying. So
mhm,
when we hear that they know, like, they are not even thinking about me and you on that level. Like, they not even looking this far down to even pay attention to us until we
right,
become wealthy enough with enough power to interfere and get in their way. That's
I
when
agree.
they matter. They
I agree.
are rich in all different colors, sitting around with their billions, talking moves, talking
Right,
money right now. And they ain't even,
right,
they like, listen, they get some scraps, God bless them. So my thing is, I don't want nobody using nothing as an excuse to feel like
right.
you can't get ahead, or you can't make money, you can't do this. You damn sure can. You got
Correct.
3 cent cryptos, blockchains, 30 cent, $1.20. Like, you can take a little bit of money and pour gasoline on it right now to be ready
Right.
to be set for 4 years from now. And those who are going to
Correct.
sit around and complain, I don't want to have a conversation with them. I don't want
I
them
agree.
around. I don't have no
I
answers
agree.
for them. Yeah.
And
So
I agree
look, I'm
with
gonna
you
let you
that
have the floor because we're gonna close out in a minute.
okay. I agree with you. And like I was saying, I'm aware. I'm aware of what goes on. But I'm also aware that it doesn't mean that you stop doing what you got to do. It only motivates me more. You know, knowing what's reality motivates me to actually come out of what they consider to be reality. So for other people to actually understand my mindset, you can't sit around and think that somebody's going to, like, especially if they have no interest, just like you said, in you, that they're going to come down and pull you up. That's not going to happen.
Like, I appreciate you, brother. Give me your time. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments you think I should do some more of this, bring some people on, bring my guy Cliff back, have some more conversations with me. Put it in the comments. Let me know some topics. And I'll talk about everything. This just isn't about real estate. It's just isn't about money. We have to talk about life, because a well-rounded background and have your mind shaped the right way will help you build wealth. There's no way to get there if your mind isn't shaped the right way to understand the direction of where things are going. If you still locked in on what things look like now and not looking at the future, how can you make money in the future if you're still stuck on now? So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody here. I need y'all to never forget to always seek knowledge. Peace.